What's up, gamers? Welcome to the 2-year anniversary video for Very OK Vinyl. My name is Vic Ostrich Vanelli. You can call me Vic Ostrich Vanelli for short. Thanks to Scott for reaching out to me. He asked if I could do a quick rundown of what they've been doing for the past 2 years. So join me with some weird transitions and see what we've been doing at Very OK Vinyl and see what's gonna come in the future. Let's check it out. The first Very OK was Necrosphere. High-paced game where it's like a Metroidvania and you're this little guy and the banging tunes are just coming at you. Well, this is the start of Very OK, so we get to see the biggest impact that Scott said, I'm going to start a label for this, and just the vibe is immense. People don't know. You can play it at 45 RPM, you can play it at 33 RPM. There's one of them is right, but you can check them both out. The second Very OK Vinyl is, imagine you want to be a dog. Imagine you want to be in Russia. Now, put those together, but you also want to be in the subway. Russian subway dogs. Put all that together and think of the music that you get from that. That's what you're going to get in Russian subway dogs. So, check it out. The third Very OK Vinyl was Highway Blossom. So, life is like a highway. Sometimes you want to drive on it, but sometimes there's some blossoms on the side. Highway Blossoms is about a couple gal pals hanging out, getting to know each other on the highway, and there's blossoms. What might blossom? I don't know, but if a campfire and highway blossoms sound like a good time with a couple of your gal pals, check out Highway Blossoms. The fourth Very OK Vinyl is Heart of the Woods, featuring the soundtracks to Moonlight and Snowfall. It's about a couple of girls who are looking into going to a village, and there might be a ghost, and they might be future roommates. Guess there's only one way to find out. Check out these cute, nice vibes, and check out Heart of the Woods. The fifth Very OK Vinyl is Song of Saya. It's about a medical student who... What? Huh? Oh my... Okay. Check out Song of Saya. I'm sure it's a fun little medical game about it. I'm sure it all goes fine. The sixth Very OK Vinyl is Milk Outside of a Bag of Milk, Milk Outside of a Bag of Milk, Milk Outside of a Bag of Milk, and Milk Outside of a Bag is about milk outside of a bag of milk. Milk outside of a bag of milk is about outside of a bag of milk. Milk is outside of the bag of milk, and milk is outside of the bag of milk. And make it milk, bag, outside, outside, milk. The seventh Very OK Vinyl is a PC98 game called Rusty. Now, imagine if you were looking to slay some kind of vampire and you wanted to look hella good doing it, and you wanted some real great tunes with a very different kind of sound in it, but it sounds amazing. And just, if vampire hunting sounds like your, check out Rusty. The eighth Very OK Vinyl is Ghost Song. You ever thought, if I was a dead suit, what would the soundtrack of my life sound like? Ghost Song has the answers for you, so I don't... Maybe you know that? I don't, so check out Ghost Song, and I think I will, so I can know what's it like to be a dead suit, am I right? That's gonna be it from me, Vic Ostrich Vanelli. Thank you so much, Scott, at Very OK Vinyl, for having me, and happy 2 years of doing this. I'm so excited to see what you guys have planned next, and happy birthday, and here's Ernie and Scott for the Q&A segment of the stream. Enjoy!
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm sitting down virtually with Scott at Very OK Vinyl. You submitted some really nice questions, and I'm going to relay them to him. Some of them, we ended up having so many that I had to trim a few or combine a few, make a little mix match, make a little combination of questions. So if something was left out, not personal at all. There were just so many good ones, I had to do a little snip snap. So without further ado, I'll start with some of the little icebreaker ones. So Scott,
Icebreaker
what's your
was
favorite?
great.
Yeah, yeah, like the more like softballish ones, you know.
Hmm.
So, what's your favorite game system?
I mean, I collected a lot for the Vita a few
Hmm.
years ago, um, but probably the Vita. But if I had to go for like the nostalgic factor, um, unfortunately, I wasn't an NES kid. I just completely
Hmm.
skipped that generation. So it'd probably be the N64.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
one of those. I had an N64 instead of a PS1.
Yeah, I was the opposite side of that. So it's like it's funny seeing the two. I don't know. It's like a different world because I grew up with Final Fantasy VII and Spyro and Crash, and so
Hmm.
hearing you and you enjoying the N64, like I didn't have one until 2012. So that was yeah, I was late to that game. So,
I
um,
was lucky enough. When I went to go visit my grandparents, I had a friend that lived next to them, and we played a lot of those games.
nice.
I actually got to experience those in the time as well, and it's something that I always looked forward to. My favorite was
Cool.
obviously Spyro. Um,
Yeah, there we go. I love that dragon.
yep.
Someone asks, "Can I come hang out with Lemon?"
I mean, depends on what your definition of hangout is. Her tank is 2 feet by 4 feet by 2 feet. So if you want to hang out in her tank, probably not. But if you want to come like chill outside now that it's summertime, yeah, we can do that.
Oh, cool, cool. And this one, I swear, was not my submission,
No?
but someone says, someone says, "Can't wait for Danganronpa box set."
I mean, tell Spike Chunsoft to email me back, and then we might be able to hear that. But hopefully one day. Hopefully one
Yeah,
day, I mean, I'm kind of in the boat where I don't care if I do it, I just want to hear it.
yeah, seriously, yeah, yeah. Totally on board with that. You already know, but a lot of people know
Yep.
now. Like I'm a recent convert to that music, and it's so good. But now we're getting out of the icebreakers. So someone
Ooh.
asks, "How did you start a label, and how did you come up with the name Very Okay Vinyl?"
Okay, so um, starting a label takes essentially a lot of money.
Mhm.
I felt it was really important to sell my first release with it being in hand or close to in hand because delays happened and it
Mhm.
wasn't actually in hand when I sold it, but it was a month out. So I paid for everything up front myself, and I actually from before I was collecting records, I
Mhm.
was collecting games, and I actually sold a fair amount of my game collection to fund the upstart of the record label. So that between just saving money is how Very Okay Vinyl started. What was the other half of that question?
The other half was, "How did you come up with the name?"
Ah, the
Yeah.
name. So,
Yeah.
so the name is based off of the sound that a dog bark makes in the Swedish language.
Right.
So,
Right.
so one of my good friends, he's from Sweden, and we're kind of like the same energy, and we
Mhm.
kind of got like just I don't want to say bullshitting, but like kind of just like
Yeah.
fooling
Yeah.
around, and
Mhm.
we always said things were very okay,
Mhm.
and
Oh no.
once I figured out womp womp. Once I figured, he told me that the dog bark in Swedish is VOV,
Hmm.
and that's how kind of the label name happened, and the icon, not the icon, the logo happened.
Yeah.
Um, it all kind of stemmed from that. So it was just kind of like it kind of just kind of happened, and it felt
Hmm.
right, and there's a little part of me that as well that didn't want to have like records in the name,
Yeah.
because everyone does that,
Hmm.
but I still wanted to be associated with that.
Well, I think it's very telling to like your personality. It has
Hmm.
character to it, and there's no frills, you know, like that's just it's just you as a label, and since you are the only person that runs it, I mean, that's, you know, it's just the perfect choice. And I think even if you're known as like a duck person, I think pretty usually,
Yep.
it's still, you know, it's still you, because I associate you with animals so often. And so I don't know, it's just like a cozy, warm hug of a label name. So I think it's super fitting for you. The follow-up question was actually from Pepsi Man. He asked, if you had to rename your business to something else, what would that be?
Mm. Oi. I don't know. That's a hard one. I've never really
Mhm.
considered anything but what I called myself now.
Right.
With what I tend to gravitate towards, I would say probably something along the lines of visual novels,
Hmm.
more indie games, because I really love working with those developers.
Hmm.
I've worked with like indie developers and bigger developers, and the difference in the excitement is something that is one of the reasons why I love working with the indie developers, because, for example, Studio Elon, with
Hmm.
all of their releases, their owner is a huge vinyl fan, used to work in a record
Yeah.
shop, um, and for me to approach them and him about doing a release,
Hmm.
he was just excited as I was to be able to do something like that. Like Highway
Yeah.
Blossoms was one of my and is one of my favorite games.
Hmm.
Um, and to
Yeah.
be able to do that was just I was over the moon. It was great.
Hmm. Yeah. And it really shows in that release too. Like, I don't know, especially with all of the Elon releases that you've done. If you play them, it just makes the release that much better, you know, to
Mhm.
enjoy the beats and, I don't know, the energy that those games have, and they're just so nice.
If anyone is watching this and hasn't played and like likes visual novels and hasn't played any of
Hmm.
their games are like a big hug.
Hmm.
So
Oh yeah.
just try it out. Try any of their games out, and you'll like them.
Yeah.
Um, and I
Plus one.
and I just wanted to comment on something for anyone watching that doesn't know me. Um, with Ernie's comment about the animals, um, I essentially live out in the country on a little hobby farm, and I have 3 dogs, 3 cats, a snake, a bearded dragon, um, 5 chickens, and 4 ducks.
Yep. Yep. And soon another Snakeo.
Yep,
So,
I'm going to get another snake next month.
uh, gosh. Yeah, lots of someone says, from label inception to today, which aspect of running a label has been the most difficult or the easiest?
Or the easiest.
Yeah, I guess kind of an and/or wombo combo there, if you're feeling
Um,
spicy.
um,
It's not Saturday.
it's not a Saturday. Yes, it's not a Saturday. Um, I think honestly, it's a boring answer, but I think the hardest part about running a label for me is the actual like legal business stuff that I have to
Hmm.
do. Um, I don't want to do it. It's not why I started this, and
Hmm.
it's so off the beaten path of the creativity that I have.
Yeah.
Um, anything to do with accounting, bookkeeping,
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
it's not great.
Hmm.
Um, the easiest part, it's funny because so the easiest part for me actually started off as the hardest part for me. Um, is I've really kind of gotten in the groove of my releases of referencing older releases center labels. And when I first started, the center labels are something that I really struggled with for Necrosphere and Highway Blossoms. And then Russian Subway Dogs, because of the type of release it was, I really wanted to lean on older designs.
Yeah.
And that's kind of something I've kept moving forward. And I think it's really nice because it gives the records a little bit of character, because there's something to be said about those older releases and the design aspects they had to play with. I really like doing that.
Yeah, totally agree. Like center labels, I think people not in like design savvy or something like that, they might not, I don't know, think too much about the details that go into it. And seriously, when you get to a center label, you either have it right off the bat, or sometimes it's like that's the last thing you have to think about. Yeah.
So Highway Blossoms was literally, I want to submit this tonight. I forgot center labels. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get something that looks good, but so I can still get it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like as a bystander seeing your process and having the privilege of seeing that, it's like there's been times, especially recently, where you're like, all right, I have to do center labels, and then like 2 hours, if that, later, you're like, okay, I did this, and it's amazing. So it's really wonderful to see this era of Very Okay Vinyl and how you adapt to those situations. Like you said, it used to be your hardest part, and now it's one of the easiest.
Yeah.
And so that's really telling of now you being 2 years into this.
Yeah.
So, speaking of which, someone says, congrats on the 2 years. Secondly, what do you look into? What do you look into for potential releases?
I can honestly say that every release that I have done is a game that I am really passionate about. Definitely do have people and composers, devs that reach out to me, and it's not necessarily that I don't like the music when that happens. It's more of I started the label, and I mean, it's going to sound selfish, but I started the label for me. I really wanted Necrosphere on a record because the soundtrack is so good. But it's essentially the label is a compilation of soundtracks and games that I'm really passionate about. So really, that's what I look for. Either the soundtrack or the game has to really catch me and hook me in.
Yeah. Well, you say it's a selfish answer, but I mean, honestly, that's what it should be about. You know, putting out into the world something that you're passionate about, something that you care about, that is going to come through in the releases every time. You know, we've all been there, like, even back to the days when we had homework. It's like when we were interested in the subject, we'd do it a lot better. But if I had to do math, I mean, you know, I'm bad at math, so I'm not going to want to do it. And so, I don't know, I think sometimes things can come to light where it's like you can tell that there wasn't that passion in it. And when someone genuinely loves something, you can tell. So that's something to be proud of, for sure.
I think it's very easy to tell in our hobby which releases were pumped out and which releases were really a labor of love. I mean, I see a lot of faults in my own, obviously, because I made them, and I see everything that was, you know, maybe not done to what I would have liked to. But one thing that I can say is that I love every release that I did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's definitely something to be proud of, for sure. And Yeah, this era, it's like so telling of that. There's just so much coming out that I know you've been looking forward to, and so
Yep.
I'm excited for the audience to see that as well. So, someone asks, is there a benefit for you in terms of doing distro title releases, such as keeping your brand active between your own releases?
So I kind of look at the distro titles two ways. One, I mean, like completely honestly, the distro stuff was just to help fellow Canadians. I obviously was a collector before I was a record label, and shipping sucks.
Yeah.
There's just no way. Like if any label in the U.S. is selling to Canada at under $20, they're taking the L to help you out. So support them. But really, I mean, I wanted to offer an option to people in Canada that would help them out. Get the releases they want without having to spend the $30 in shipping, plus the custom fees. So that was really important to me, and I try to price out every release where they will be coming in less than buying it from the US retailer and have no worries about customs. As far as keeping the brand active in between releases, honestly, it's a really nice kind of side effect, but it was never something that I thought about until probably about a year in, that I was like, oh, it's nice to have these releases that are just keep popping up to keep people thinking about me.
Yeah, exactly. That's good.
Because I don't make a ton on them. It's really just to help people out. Generally, if I get like a one or two that go sideways, I'm kind of breaking even on the whole distro deal. But it makes me happy to know that people are finding value in something that I'm offering, and I'm hoping that they'll come back and support my label for it.
Yeah, there was a response I had to leave out because it just ended up, we had to trim a little, and it kind of tied into this where they are also based in Canada, and so they were thanking you for, helping out with that. And so it's nice that you are this kind of refuge for other people in Canada to help with those obnoxious international prices.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if you import anything, if it's with Canada Post, you're paying taxes plus $10. If you're UPS, you're paying taxes plus $25, and if you're like FedEx or DHL, you're paying taxes plus whatever they feel like that day.
Yeah. Nuts. Absolutely nuts.
It's not great. Generally, most of the people I talk to don't mind paying the taxes, like they get it. But it's the absurd surcharges that you get on everything.
Yeah. Someone asks, is there? Oh, sorry. What record release would you consider a collaboration between Yeeter Snacks and Very Okay Vinyl? And what if it was edible?
So for those that don't know, Yeeter Snacks is my other business that I run with my partner, Steph, and we make freeze-dried dog treats and cat treats. So definitely would have to be some type of a release between like animals, dogs and cats. The release that jumps to my mind, the game that jumps to my mind is I think it's called Calico. It was like this indie game about like a cat cafe. I think that would be perfect for like a dual business collab release.
Yeah. Like the treats could be vinyl record shaped, and it could be you could feed them to the animals.
Yep. I could do that.
we're gonna have to actually take that one down so you can keep it as a private
Maybe
business.
we'll just cut that section out of the interview.
Yeah. Sorry, audience. Someone says, if you could pick any game soundtrack to release, what would be your dream release? P.S. You're awesome.
Uh, if I could pick any release that would be my dream release, that's really hard.
Mm-hmm.
If I had my choice, it would probably be, I mean, one of the first visual novels that I played, and a game that I always go back to, is Steins Gate.
Mm-hmm.
It would be, I don't even know, it would be a dream.
Yeah.
Song of Saya was pretty up there as well.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe that happened and I got to be a part of it. But probably Steins Gate. If I had to not pick Steins Gate and I had to go like more mainstream releases, which I know is like really my jam, it would if I could pick anything, it would probably be one of the Fire Emblem games.
Yeah.
I love Fire Emblem a lot, and I'm currently playing through Engage, and it is great. But yeah, it would probably be one of those.
Yeah, definitely a untapped market with the Fire Emblem releases for sure.
Yeah, there's not much out there in terms of like releases on record, like arrangement releases on records.
Yeah,
not much.
No. Yeah, maybe someday that would be a really good fit for you, both of them, because you've mentioned Steins Gate as long as I've known you almost. So yeah. Someone asks, I'm sure someone has already said what your dream release would be. What would your nightmare release be? No, I don't know what this means.
What would my nightmare release be? I guess something that I guess not necessarily a title, but I guess something that I've already signed, signed, committed to releasing, and then it's just roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, and uncooperative. I guess uncooperative whomever is involved that I need their permission / approval on art, sound quality. I've had some releases where they are a little more challenging in that regards than others. But honestly, again, as I've said, I prefer working with smaller indies. Usually they're pretty stoked about it. Pretty open to whatever I want to do. Even the bigger companies like Nature Plus that I've worked with, I can't do new art, so I just use the assets they provide me, and they're pretty good with whatever I give them. I give them what I've designed, because I generally do all the layouts myself, and I don't think they've ever come back with me with like, you know what, we just really don't like the overall feel of this, so no. But honestly, a nightmare release, like title-wise for me, would probably be anything big that just needs a lot of approval. I'm not about that. Something from Blizzard comes to my mind that would probably need a lot of approval. Something from Disney, which would probably need a lot of approvals, like we saw with Gravity Falls.
Yeah.
So,
Kingdom Hearts seem to be pretty. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So I mean, I hope that's a good enough answer, but I don't have like a specific title in my head that would be like terrible.
Yeah, I just thought it was such a funny spin on dream release.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's absolutely going in. And also, you touched on, someone did ask, I tried to avoid questions that you were asked in previous interviews, which kind of touched on, like, someone asked, what is it like working with, like, Japanese devs, such as with Saya and Rusty, and so you kind of nailed that as well. So it's like, I don't know, sometimes things can be more of a challenge, but luckily it sounds like in your experience you haven't had like completely earth-shattering roadblocks that just completely suck the joy out of it. So
Yeah, usually it's not like that. I mean, to kind of like briefly answer that question, I don't have a lot of experience yet. And like NitroPlus, great. And they just pretty much gave me assets and be like, what do you want? Make something. Yeah, it's approved. Something like Rusty, the creator of Rusty, Mr. Nita, essentially really wanted us to nail her face, and we went through a lot of revisions on her face.
Yeah.
Before we got something that he approved of.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just people who created these games wanting them to be portrayed correctly.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Someone said, in the future, would you consider branching out of other formats beyond vinyl for certain releases?
Absolutely. There is a release coming up that I want to do a tape for. I don't have a way to test tapes myself currently.
Yeah.
So I'll need to figure that out. But it is so in line with the premise and things that happen in the game that I feel like I would be doing a disservice to the fans to not do a tape.
Yeah. Yeah, you've teased this in the past, in a past interview, and when you said, if you know, you know, and I was like, I know what it is.
I do also have some future releases of like older kind of like Rusty style games that I will be doing CDs for as well, because one of the pieces of feedback that I definitely got during Rusty was like, I don't know why there wasn't a CD release as well. Why? I mean, because even though vinyl is outselling CDs, there's still a lot of people that don't have a record player and would like access to, these raw files. And I didn't do a Rusty CD for various reasons, which I hope will be released in the future. But I have the opportunity to release the CDs for these other two games that I'm thinking of, and it's always my goal to kind of like, I want to preserve it. I don't want it to be lost, and I have the opportunity to do it, so why not?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely something on your mind. It's like knowing the source material, even with Rusty, like that was something you were aware of, and it just didn't happen to work out, but it's something that's constantly on your mind. And,
I was originally, to anyone wondering, I was originally doing a CD for Rusty, and then we decided not to for various reasons. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dogs barking in the background. I have, as I said, 3 and we're dog sitting 1, so they're going off on something.
If anyone's going to complain about dogs, let me at them. Uh-oh.
I lost you for a second there.
No, we're back. This is what the magic of editing will have. Luckily, we weren't in between a question.
Yep.
A dear friend of Very Okay Vinyl asks, Scott, this is Caleb. Release a damn t-shirt. That is all.
Oh, I mean, I've wanted to release a t-shirt for a while. My artist is just a huge slacker and doesn't know how to get off his butt and give me something that I can put on the website.
Yeah, you gotta fire that artist. He sounds like a bum.
Yeah.
You might want to get someone different, but real talk, we've been talking about a shirt, I think, since,
I think it's summer. Yeah, I think it's been a while.
Yeah. This is all part of the plan, everyone. We were planning for this drop specifically to coincide with the anniversary. It was all planned. But Scott, do you want to
Spoiler
explain?
alert. So my idea was to do a small video after all this with all the stuff that stuff, maybe more.
Yeah.
That's going to be dropping on the anniversary. But as of tonight, when this video will be premiering, there will be Very Okay Vinyl t-shirts on the site. They will be, as decided today, $35 Canadian, which equates to $26 US. I believe Ernie will be shipping them to the US customers, and I will be shipping them to the Canadian customers. That way we don't get hit with customs, because customs on clothing is even worse.
Yeah. They are stinky. So
Stinky.
finally the people will be happy that there will be apparel.
Yes.
Also, in a Caleb vein question, someone says, when's the mud wrestling match between Channel 3 Records and Very Okay Vinyl taking place?
As soon as Caleb invites me down for drinks.
Awesome. I only have one question left.
One?
But it's not
Okay.
a great one. Yeah. Do you have any long-term dreams or goals with Very Okay Vinyl that you would like to share?
Wait, honestly, my only hope and dream, obviously, like, besides releases I'd love to do, is between Very Okay Vinyl and the Pet Treat Business Eater Snacks, I would like to be able to support my family with those things, because we're very animal and, you know, gardening focused. We have a hobby farm, and that's what we want to do, and so much time and effort goes into both of those businesses. If they could support us and we could just do those, or, you know what, even just my partner gets to quit her job and I do contracting for my current job, that would be a huge win for me. It was never the intent for this to do that. I always kind of felt like it was like a hobby, but as the months and years roll on, the possibility of that being an actual thing that the businesses and the people who buy from me can support me in doing, I don't know, it feels really weird, and I honestly can't express enough gratitude to everyone who has supported me in the label.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's so wild about this 2-year mark, because seeing the progression in this short amount of time, it's astounding, Scott, really. I mean, I think Sayo was like a huge, I don't know, it feels like the camel's hump, you know, like that was insane. Like when you told me,
I've reached my apex and now I'm just on the way down.
No, the camel's hump is never gonna end. It's just going up and up and up. This is the longest camel hump ever. Because it was like when you told me about that, I didn't really understand, like, not coming from a real visual novel background, like I didn't understand the depth of that release. And when it came out and the meat variant sold out in what, 10 seconds?
Essentially,
if that. Yeah. I mean, that was it. And so I don't know, just seeing that moment just snowball from there, and like hearing about the stuff coming in the future, and, you know, finally putting this shirt out, it's like all these things, it's just so cool as a bystander and friend to be a part of. And so I think I speak for a lot of people that says thank you for being you, and, you know, putting out what you put out and bringing the energy that you bring to this scene. It's so necessary a lot of the time, because so much negativity can happen, and to see someone that genuinely cares about what they do and what they put out, it's it's honestly a blessing for this community to have. So thank you for being you.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you for sitting down with me. Well, technically, we're both sitting down. We're obviously in different countries, but sitting down with me and having this conversation, interview type situation, it's very nice to sit down and relay these questions from the community. So thank you for your time.
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for putting this together. And thanks to everyone who asked questions. It's still a little weird to me that people have questions they want to ask me.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up. I'm pretty sure, I think so. Ghost Song is the last thing I've announced as of now, which was 8, and I easily have double that in the works.
Yeah. I know people aren't ready. They're not ready. But
2023 is going to be a big year, starting with probably tonight.
Yeah. Can't wait. I hope everyone else is ready.
All right. Thanks, Ernie.
Thank you.
Bye.
And then that's where we'll cut.
Before we get into the end of the video and the part that you're all here waiting for, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has purchased something from me, has taken a chance on maybe a soundtrack that you did not know about, but it looked and sounded cool, so you bought it. I have Lemon here, as I know she is a fan favorite. But yeah, thank you to Ernie for doing the Q&A. I had a great time. And thank you to Atrix for putting the skit at the beginning that you watched together. And yes, thank you to Mr. Alex G for something you're about to see. That's pretty cool. And I've been working at it for a while, and it's finally ready to show everyone. So, without further ado, let's get to the announcements.
Do you want Very Okay Vinyl merch? Yeah! Do you want to be able to order it soon? Yeah! Well, then we have good news for you. Introducing the Very Okay shirt by Ernie Wood. This shirt goes hard in 4 different colors. Available for open pre-order now for the next month, and we will produce as many as our order. Yay! Order yours now or be not very okay.
Now, the latest scoop on Noctis City. A local faction has sparked riots after rejecting peace talks with the president. We're reporting live from the scene.